to transition to David Noto, following your passion and building a wine company. He's the founder and CEO of Altaneve, um, doing some very delicious work for sure. So excited to hear more about Altaneve and uh, how everything is going.
Well, Altaneve has been fantastic. It started with an amazing personal journey. Let's see about sharing my screen. I have some pictures to show you because what better than a picture show? So let's see. I started the company after a career in engineering and then corporate America, where I worked for multiple big corporates like Ernst & Young, Capgemini, Accenture, and Citigroup. And I did some wonderful things. I had a wonderful journey doing that. I started with an engineering degree, and then after corporate America, I had a little bit of a personal uh, journey. Initially, the idea was corporate job is fantastic, salary, benefits, there's structure, they show you what to do, there's even mental security in your job and where it's taking you. And after the ups and downs of the boom of the dot-com bust and boom, and then the 2007, 2008 depression, I decided that this wasn't really giving me the excitement, my MO personal from I went from he who dies with the most toys wins to I want to enjoy waking up every morning and do something that gives me gratification. So this idea of follow your passion, um, I went for an MBA at Columbia University, and it really showed me through um, seeing Bill Gates and Schultz and Jobs and all the wonderful people that did great things. They just had an idea and the determination to follow through. And I said, you know what? I can do this. Yes, a wine company will give me the passion and gratification that I always wanted. And we heard from the past speakers about uncertainty and or certainty. You want to feel certainty, and uncertainty is uncomfortable. And I must tell you that that was the most difficult thing to get past, to jump off the bridge or the top of the building, as it were, to from corporate America and security and certainty of salary, benefits, and all the rest, to the uncertainty of let me start a new company, was risky and difficult and definitely uncertain for sure. But after a career in engineering, management consulting, and finance technology, I took it in a very management consulting point of view. How do I do this? Let me study a little bit. Let's see what I can do. Can I do this? And so initially I did some studies and I thought, oh, well, there's a market opportunity, there's growth in the segment. And this happened around 2010 and 2011 and even 2012. And in early 2012, I jumped in with both feet and said, if I'm ever going to do this, I'm going to do it now. And I did it at 39 years old. I completely changed my career, and I decided I want to create a fantastic wine company. My family had done it for over 10 generations before me. My father was the first to be an engineer in our family, the first to be a university graduate in his line of the family. And I went back. I went back again to making wine. And I thought I'm going to do it with studying. I'm going to study the market. I'm going to figure out where it goes. And then I'm going to study the terroir. I'm going to be an expert in where to make great stuff. And as it turns out, I didn't just choose wine. I chose Prosecco, which was my favorite wine. I had already introduced hundreds, maybe over 1,000 people to it in the United States, working in corporate America in New York City. And I decided, well, Prosecco is something I love. I've loved it since I was a child. It was very adoptable by people who love beer, love Prosecco. People who love white wine, love Prosecco. And I saw it adopt in the 10 years or so that I was in the States. working in corporate America. So I said, all right, well, I'm going to make the best Prosecco. And I researched the area. And I must tell you, this is on the left side of the screen. You'll see this is my family. This is my grandfather, grandmother, my aunt, vineyards. And on the right side is my new team and my new family that helped me make all of this happen. But I've got to tell you, it's now after 10 years, 11 years of this, I must tell you that it was not the easiest jump I've ever done. Many people have asked me, how'd you do it? What'd you do? I just had the determination, I'm going to do this. I sold all of my investments, used my savings accounts. I sold a garage full of cars that I collected over my initial life in corporate America, and I invested in vineyards and in a wine company to create this. And it was much, much more difficult than I could even tell you. But I think if you start with the determination that you want to wake up every morning and love what you do and do what you really want to do, and you start from a somewhat base point of view where you've already done the research of the market, like we saw in the presenters before me, the market opportunity, the product market fit, where it's going, maybe a niche, a market gap, where you can put your product using newish technologies. I think you have an honest to goodness chance. I went in a white space where many people are passionate about wine and getting into wine, but a white space where there wasn't. I chose the ultra premium segment of Prosecco, which didn't exist 10 years ago. And in a way, I created it. So it was really tough getting going, but now 10, 11 years in, it's getting wonderful traction. We've even had, by being out there, we've done, I've personally done about 1,000 wine tastings, talking to people, getting out there in the environment, getting out there in my market and talking to people and showing them pictures of my vineyards, the hard work, the passion behind it, the work that goes into it, the sustainability of the vineyards, the organicness, the all natural of the wine and what we do and how we do it. It's really based on people. And there's so much more love and attention to detail than any corporate job, more gratification than any corporate job can give you. And I think if you leave a corporate job and you're committed, I think with the commitment to actually make it happen, after you've studied a little bit of the market share, I think anyone can do it. I actually think if I could do it, anyone could do it. So I brought some pictures to show you in a little bit of a presentation what it is, because in my presentation here today, this is not as much graphs of what you can do, how you can do it. This is much more a personal journey of, am I willing to suffer a little bit, both in work, late hours, wondering financially if I can make this happen on my own, going to people with hat in hand, cold calling, but cold calling not necessarily on the phone, but instead going to people. And it's not what I ever thought it would be. And I think that any journey like this will teach anyone that the journey isn't what you think it might be, but instead it's a different, completely different journey. It's a journey of who you are and are you ready to grit it out, to do the difficult of find clients where you didn't think they would be. I thought, make great wine and people will love it and will buy it. Yes, but people need to know about it and they need to know why they should buy it. And to do that, the idea of cold calling and walking into places unknowing of anyone and saying, hey, I've got great wine and I'd like to share it with you. That's a lot of what it took for a long time. But I think it was definitely, definitely worthwhile. It was gratifying. It's difficult. But as you can see from the pictures I've shown you, it's all about the team and the community and sharing. And that really helped take my job, my idea that I had when I was sitting at my desk in corporate America in finance technology in the Citigroup desk in a field of cubicles to really decide that instead of this cushy job where I make great money and I have security, I just want to jump out and figure it all out for myself. And I did. And if I can do it, I'm certain that all of you can. And I don't think it's so much a PowerPoint presentation of you should do this, that, and the other thing, follow steps, but instead to research your market, understand how you're going to go to market, and then have the determination to do whatever it takes. I, after having a beautiful cars in my garage, I sold them and sold them all. And I bought a little Fiat 500 with, and I've slept in the backseat of that car more times than I care to wish to tell. On the way home in the United States or in Italy, driving from place to place. And it's been a wonderful journey. The journey still continues, mind you. But I think that anyone can do it if you really put your mind to doing this. So I have here 3 of my wines. I've been so fortunate on the Wall Street Journal. They rated them. They drank my Prosecco. They're one of their writers, Charles Passy, drank my Prosecco and he said, is this the best Prosecco in the world? And then write a long article showing how it was. It was amazing. And in the last 2 years, we've been rated the #1 Prosecco in the world on the Vivino app, which has over 50 million users worldwide. It's been an amazing, amazing journey. But I really think it's the more than my journey. It's the journey in your mind to understand, do I have it in me to suffer like crazy, to pull 20-hour days, day after day after day for years in a row, to figure out how to make my passion a reality. And of things I could say to anyone who's dreaming of, I want to start my own wine company as well. I would think, understand what you're making, how you're making it, and have great quality in your wine so that you can talk about it with passion, and then understand your market as best you can, and just don't be afraid. You just go to it as much as you can. And I hope that if you ever do decide to make the journey, you will. And it'll be wonderful. And I think that if any of you ever have questions, you're enlightened by the idea of making wine from scratch, making a wine company, starting a wine company late in your life at 40 years old, I say do it. Definitely do it. But first, call me, email me. I left some pictures. Here's a picture of me like a goofball and my email address. And if you ever forget how to reach me, you can reach out on our website. If you see my wine company, you can reach out on our website and you can email me directly through our website. I suggest to any of you, if you really want to do this, think twice because it's difficult. But if you're really certain that you want to do it, I really recommend that you do, because it's a fantastic journey. It was a life journey for me, and it's been personally fulfilling. And there is no Start a Wine Company for Dummies book out there. I wish there were. If it were easy enough to do, I would actually write one myself. I think it's a personal journey that I've met many people who've done this similar journey to mine. And I think the things that you have to remember are, what am I making? And then how am I getting it out there to the public? I think that with the new ideas of marketing online, I think it's a little easier now than it ever was before. But the idea is making great wine and they will buy it does not work. That's what I tried. It is getting into the market and talking to people, telling them why, showing them why, letting them taste your wine and showing them about your passion. And I think that's the key to starting your own wine company after a career in corporate America for sure. I thank you so, so much, all of you, for signing in today to allow me to chat with you about my wine company, about the journey that I took to go from engineering, management consulting, and finance to starting a wine company. I think it's got a lot to do with passion and your personal drive to make it happen.
Awesome. Thanks so much, David.
Thank
Really,
you so much for having me today. This was really an honor and a pleasure to be here.
well, thank you so much for being a part of this conference and sharing. I think that is just some amazing advice for anybody that's really starting any business, especially in this case, a wine company, given the current global situation that we're in, and everybody's looking for kind of what's new and what's next in their own life. And so thank you again for a great presentation on both Altaneve and starting a wine company and even starting a business. So
Well, thank you so much. I really think that I think everyone can do this. If I can do this, I think almost anyone can do this. You just have to have the drive and the grit to keep at it. And I think if you do, you'll succeed. You just have to have the stamina to stay in it long enough so that you'll see it come to fruition.
awesome. Again, thank you so much, David. Really appreciate your time and appreciate you giving your wisdom to us, and wish you continued success down the road.
Thank you so much for having me. Cheers.